Hey, this video is going to be a little bit different. I don't think there's going to be any guitar playing or very little guitar playing, but it's here as a prop because it's like my security blanket, and I like when it's on my leg. I don't sleep with it, but my wife wouldn't complain. I probably would. So I just got done shooting my first time singing a song and recording me singing a song, like a concentrated effort to sing, and I can't do it yet. I use this microphone. It's the main reason I bought it. It's not the only reason I bought it. Hopefully it makes videos sound better. Excuse me. But it's definitely the core reason why I spent the money on this microphone. And I did okay, I think. I'm giving myself some grace. I did all right. I can sing the melody. I just did like verse 1. I may have talked about this before. I may not have. I sung just verse 1 of Hey Jude, which seemed to be in my range. C is about is pretty comfortable for me. I'll get into that in a minute. And when I sang the words, it fell apart. But if I just sang the melody as the chords were being played, it was pretty good. I mean, me listening back, being hypercritical of myself anyway, I was like, that's not bad. There were a few pitchy spots where I was a little off, but overall, reverb would probably cover that. Who knows? But overall, it really wasn't that bad. But the words I just could not do. So I want to talk about how I got there from being really bad. My journey so far, where I'm going to take it, where I'm going to go, in the hopes that if you are a instrumentalist or something, you play an instrument, and you would like to be able to sing, but you're not sure if you can. I think you can. And I'm just going to kind of share my experience and how it's going so far. So it probably took one time, and this is probably the same for everybody. One time when you're a kid or maybe a teenager, and you attempt to sing along to a song on the radio or some other thing, and people laugh at you, and that just destroyed me. I was like, well, I'm never doing that again. And I think the reason is because if I compare that with guitar, I play wrong notes on guitar all the time, and I just breeze right past them. That one didn't sound good. The next one will sound better. But with singing, I think it feels like it's more a part of you rather than an instrument. Like I can mess this up and go, I'm not good at this thing yet. But if I mess this up, it's me. This is my body, my voice, my lungs, everything about my brain, everything about this is me. So if people are laughing at that, they're laughing at me. They're not laughing at a skill that I haven't, at least it seemed to me like they weren't laughing at a skill that I hadn't perfected or fine-tuned yet. They were laughing at me. But I've always wanted to sing. Singing's great. Like, instrumental songs are great. And I play a lot of instrumental guitar music, and it's good. And most jazz is instrumental. There's some great instrumental guitar players out there, but vocals are really good. Good lyrics are great. The craft of writing lyrics is difficult, and singing is difficult, but I've always wanted to be able to do it. I always wanted to be able to, so I can play a few instruments. Excuse me again. I can play the guitar, electric and acoustic, bass, like a bass player, not like a guitar player, sort of. Keys. I don't know if I could play drums. I think I could, kind of like singing. I think I could figure it out. I can keep a beat pretty good. I can certainly fake it in Logic really well. But so that's like, I don't know, 5 instruments. So being able to sing on top of that is great. And that's what I wanted to do. So this is my progress so far. This is where the idea came from, what I did, what I practiced, hills and valleys, and to where we're at today. Somewhere around November of 2024, I saw a YouTube video. I saw the YouTube video a little before that, but November was about when I decided to take the plunge. And the video was another guitar YouTuber, and it was a live stream of him taking a vocal lesson from a vocal coach in Nashville, and doing silly exercises and probably feeling embarrassed. And I watched it, and I connected because he was a guitar player that wanted to expand into something else. I'm a guitar player that wanted to expand into something else, and it looked reasonable. And that was the first time that I had saw a vocal coach giving a lesson to someone over Zoom or whatever they were using, and it being effective. So it stuck with me for a couple weeks, maybe a month. And then, I would look at their website, the vocal coach's website, kind of evaluate if it's for me. And finally, I got the guts up, November 24. And I said, I'm going to go for it, right? So I scheduled a lesson, and scheduled 30-minute lessons. So they had 30 minutes and I think 45 minutes. And I'm intentionally not saying he or she, because I don't want to I'm going to say some favorable things and maybe some not so favorable things. So I don't want to throw shade where that's not my goal. So I'm intentionally leaving it blank. So hopefully I don't slip up and say he or she when I do this. So I scheduled a 30-minute lesson. And I was scared to death. I can't think of another time I was this scared. Scared. I was going to sound terrible. She was going to laugh at me. I might cut that out. I was scared the coach was going to laugh at me. Everything that goes through your head when you're insecure about something. So I set out to practice, and I'm not going to do it here because I'm not brave enough. I would just go C to C. And I would sing those pitches. And they had videos on their website that explained how to practice those things. So I practiced that all the way up and try to hit those pitches. I did it for about 15 minutes a day. And I found that the spot where I would lose it is about this G sharp, my voice would start breaking. I didn't know. I didn't really know what that was at the time. I just knew that I could do from C to about G sharp, and I wouldn't be able to hit the pitch like right away, but I could kind of slide into it with my voice. And I practiced, and then I had my first lesson. So the first lesson was really informative. I learned about chest voice. I learned how to breathe, diaphragm, so on and so forth. Like this stuff's on the internet, but if you take a lesson, these are the first things they're going to teach you is breath. I learned where the voice comes from. You're going to learn a chest voice. This is the voice that's comfortable to me, closest to my speaking voice. And then you'll hear about head or falsetto. And your head voice is that G sharp thing. They call it the break. And that's where you're transitioning from chest to head. Head meaning, I'm not going to explain this well. A disclaimer, I'm not a singer. I'm trying. So I'm going to probably get some of the terms wrong. So head and falsetto are similar, except falsetto I think is breathy and head is more and the throat, right? So that was the break. I learned about the break. I learned about the higher pitches, I guess. And I learned how to breathe. And I as I was singing to her, to the vocal coach, and they were hitting keys on the keyboards, and I was trying to match pitch. When I would mess up, I would always learn that it's mostly breath related. It's either I ran out of breath, I wasn't breathing properly, I wasn't pulling it from the right space, whatever. So I was learning a ton related to singing that I didn't know before. I'd been in bands and I've been around singers, so I had a working knowledge of diaphragm breathing and all that other stuff. But I didn't, the vocal coach explained that in a level of detail that I'd never heard before. Totally worth it. So after that first lesson, my homework, for lack of a better term, was to go and do exactly what I was doing, right? But record myself for like 15 minutes a day and listen back and listen for things that sounded good and things that didn't sound good and for how I can approach those. So that's what I did. Again, C to C, right? Starting low, fairly low, and going all the way up. And I did that every day, 15 minutes. So when I started playing guitar for the day, I would do that vocal exercise. I would go through the C chromatic scale, hitting those pitches, and I started to hit them clearer, sooner. So I didn't have to like search around as much to find it. I would hear it and I'd be maybe just under it, and then I would hit it or just above it and just come down. So I was shortening that duration. And I thought it was going really well. Scheduled the next one. So my second lesson, I did the same thing. And I was progressing well. And she wanted 3. She wanted they wanted me to go up an octave, right? So to really push the head voice. So instead of starting here, I was going to start here, which was the highest note that I had hit before. A good challenge. And this was third lesson, I think. Third lesson. So we're into December. We're approaching Christmas. And I started to do that. And they're playing notes on the piano, and I'm trying to match that pitch. Here's the two issues that I had with the online vocal lessons. One is 30 minutes feels too short. Now, when I took guitar lessons, 30 minutes felt fine. But in a vocal lesson, maybe it's the online thing. It didn't feel like enough. It felt like I should have went 45 minutes or an hour, because by time you recap what you did before, and the vocal coach has a ton of students, so remembering who you are and where you know what you had done before, what you're working on. So you're 10 minutes in, 10 minutes in. Right now you're down to 20. And now you're going through the exercise and you're trying to learn and analyze if you're doing things properly, and they're coaching you in the right direction. And by the time you get done with, like, I don't know, say 5 minutes to go in the lesson, you got to start wrapping up, because there's another lesson on the horizon that the vocal coach needs to get to, right? So you need to wrap up what you're doing so they can go on to their next lesson. So in essence, your lesson feels more like 20 minutes, at most 25, and it's just not enough time to go deep on any subject. And maybe it's the approach. So when I took guitar lessons when I was a kid, I would go in and he's like, "What song you want to learn?" I'm like, "Oh, I want to learn Whole Lotta Love by Led Zeppelin." Here's how you play it. And he'd show me, or there'd be a new song out, and I'd go, "I want to learn, this song," and he'd show me that song. So we never went really deep in vocal lessons. We were going a little deeper in how the voice works and yada yada yada. So maybe that just that approach required more. I'm not sure. But I am sure that 30 minutes feels too short. So if you're thinking about doing this and like 45 minutes is an option, take it. It probably costs a little more, but I think it's worth it. Issue 2. Issue 2 is the internet has latency. It just does. It's not immediate. There's however milliseconds. I'm not going to go into the nerdy technical details, but there will be at least some sort of millisecond delay. So from the time it takes a vocal instructor to hit a key on their keyboard, that keyboard to transfer through the internet, be decoded, and appear through the app to you, to your speakers. You hear it. You listen to the pitch and go, "Okay, I think I know what that is." Attempt to sing it. That does the same thing again to the internet. Gets decoded so she can. Okay, we know it's a woman, right? I'm not going to keep trying to hide it. There's literally thousands of women that are vocal instructors. I don't think I'm giving anything away. It gets to her and she hears it, and then she's on to the next thing, right? So what happens is that's coming at me really, really fast, and I'm a beginner, and I don't have the chance or the time to think about that information and try to react to it. Now I'm just trying to go as fast as I can. quantity over quality. I'm not concentrating on hitting the right notes. I'm just concentrating on hitting something before the next note comes at me. And that's hard. That's hard. And I think, and if a vocal coach stumbles onto this video, please correct me if I'm wrong. But I think when you're learning to sing, it may be easier to learn from someone who sings closer to your register. So, someone that sings, so I was singing in C, so I think it's easier to learn from somebody that sings a little closer to your key, because in my experience, with a vocal coach singing back to you in notes that are hard for you to hit, the feedback loop, I just don't know if it's the same as it would be with a male vocalist teaching me with a range that he's familiar with. That's not to say that I don't think the males can learn from females or females can learn from males. I just think that this is unique enough. It's not like a guitar where gender doesn't matter. With singing, I think it does because of vocal range and the way our voices are naturally. I think it makes a difference. I hope I'm proven wrong at some point, but I think it might make a difference. Maybe I'll test that and see, but right now I'm pretty sure it makes a difference. So in closing, if I had to do it all over again, would I do it the same? And I think I would, aside from taking longer lessons. I feel like if you're taking lessons online, you need to pay extra to have a longer lesson to make sure that you get enough time. You're paying for convenience anyway, right? So while it may be a little more than an in-person lesson, you're paying for the convenience of doing it on your lunch break at home or whatever, right? Whenever you can schedule it when you have the most time, not when you're taking in-person lessons, you're kind of victim's not the right word, but you have to coincide with whatever schedule the instructor has. And when you're doing it online, I think you're more free to pick what works best for you inside of certain hours. Maybe that's the same. Maybe that's a bad analogy. I don't know. If I had to do it all over again, I would totally do it. Here's my biggest takeaway, which is probably controversial to a vocal coach. And it's that I think in the first couple of lessons, I learned enough about pitch, about breath, exercises, things to work on, to be able to marry that with my guitar or piano or whatever knowledge, my music theory knowledge, be able to marry those two things together to get to where I want to get to. I don't want to be a world-class vocalist I want to be able to grab a guitar and go to some open mic night, play some chords, sing some tunes, and not sound terrible. So that's my journey so far. I can sing melodies decently as long as they're within my range. I can't sing very high, but good enough to make me think that, hey, that's not so bad. And I know what I need to work on, and I know how to work on those things to get to where I want to be. And my original goal, back at the end of 2024, was to be able to do this by the end of 2025. 5 months in, and I had a long, 3-month break where I didn't do anything from the holidays through probably the end of March. And I still have 7 months to go. I think I'm in pretty good shape. I think I can learn how to enunciate the words properly and hit the pitches correctly to be able to sing a couple tunes by the end of the year. So that's it. So I want to encourage you, if this is something you're thinking about doing, seek out a vocal coach, take a few lessons, give yourself enough time. Be patient with yourself. Practice it as if you were practicing your guitar or your other instrument. Like, dedicate time to recording yourself and listening back and being critical of what you hear. And see where you can go. So good luck to you.